I wake up at 2:30 in the morning. I'm on the 4:30 train and I'm at work by 5:20. I'm a newspaper promoter. Their free papers are all over the place. They look like this. And this is what I do from the hours of 5:30 to 10 o'clock. And on a regular day at my spot, I get 13 bundles of these, each bundle containing 100 papers. And I have to move them around into the different spots, and I also have to make sure that they're all gone by the time my shift's over at 10 o'clock. Then, you stand on your feet to come home, but it's perfectly okay because at the end of the day, as the kids say, it's the hustle, baby.
When a people do not know what to do with a particular portion of society, what they do is they kind of isolate. They try to isolate you because they don't know what to do with you. So they isolate you. They put you in a form of isolation and so that you're kind of moved away from everyone else, and because they really don't know what to do with you. And that's what I feel what DHS has done.
How much does it cost to put you through this apartment?
They pay a total of $3,876.65.
A month.
A month. This apartment in a regular realty is worth about $1,000 to $1,200 a month with utilities included.
The people who own these buildings are definitely making a profit, and that's personal profit. And are there regulations on this thing? Yes, there are regulations on these things, but do they follow them completely? Absolutely not.
There was a huge hole there, and I was scared to death because I was scared to step over here. For a while, this table was blocking the window because I was afraid that we were going to fall to the floor. And this is what they did. As you can see, they didn't actually do any real hard work. They just threw it all on there together and said the job is done. You see this little patch here. The apartments look like they cut out a piece and just added this. So every time this cracks and leaks with water, they just come and they replaster it, even though the water still leaks through.
In order to become a shelter building, you have to be able to qualify for certain licenses. You have to come in, they have to check and make sure that the building is proper to house people in there and so forth. And no, it's not always that way.
And then here in my window, you see this here? Ooh, you seen that? Do you see these cracks here? Mm-hmm. They won't fix them either. So when the tub is leaking like this, oftentimes it leaks down into the thing and in there and downstairs. For the whole, I think, first 6 months that I was here, I never saw a caseworker. I had no idea that we had a caseworker. We actually didn't get a caseworker until about a month and a half ago.
They say that it's required that you must have some sort of degree, either 4-year or 2-year degree, to actually be a caseworker and working with homeless families. But the caseworkers and case managers, they do not act as though they have been trained properly.
They look at us like we don't matter. Oh, they're just stupid shelter people. They don't want to do anything for themselves. They want to live off the government. So why should we help them anymore? And those are the thoughts that are going through their head. And honestly, you can see it in their faces.
They talk to you as though you're inhuman. They talk to you as though that this is a parole type scenario. You're on some sort of criminal parole scenario, opposed to just the fact that you just don't have a home.
It's basically, she comes, she drops off a notice that says you have to come see her, and that's what she does. There's really nothing else to it. She performs inspections and she gives them to DHS through work orders and tells them what they have to fix. But obviously looking around, you can tell that doesn't get done either. So basically, Aguila Corporation is just we're gonna house you guys, and it's up to DHS to do whatever they want to do with you. They really have no say-so when it comes to what happens with the Department of Homeless Services.
If I go apartment hunting, who am I gonna come back to talk to? Hey, listen, I found an apartment.
That's the game.
What is the next step do I do?
That's the
There's
game.
nobody here to help me with that. So where does that leave me?
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
It's exactly how they said it.
We got a few notices, and it was the strangest thing in the world that said that this shelter program here was going to be shut down, which means everybody that lived in the shelter part here were going to have to move away, and they were supposed to find another way to place us. But that same day when we got the letter downstairs, the Department of Homeless Services workers and supervisors were knocking on everybody's door. And they said that that was a lie. It was absolutely not true. And that they said a lot of crazy things were going to happen. They said cops were going to come, people were going to bang down the doors, people were going to ask us to leave, and DHS told us that we have to stay. But then they came back the next day and told us, no, you have to leave. Nobody from the Department of Homeless Services contacted anyone here. So we actually had a few families that were forced out by the people who were knocking on the door.
So now, if you're talking about moving the building completely out, this is your building. I'm not concerned about that. I get that. But my thing is, these are families, these are children, these are schools, these are all of that things that's going on.
All my children seem to fall asleep in school now. And that's because they're super tired between them banging on the door at various times. I'm talking 12:30, 1 a.m. in the morning. These people are banging down the door and they're asking you questions. So I get tired little babies, and it affects me as a parent, because when you go to school and your kids are falling asleep in school, the schools call you and they're like, what's going on with your kid? And sad to say, the Board of Ed doesn't factor all of these different things in, so they instantly blame the parent. So the first thing that happens is you get a visit from Administration for Children's Services.
If anything, if it was me, I would definitely put ACS and all them other people that always coming over here looking at us funny about how we taking care of our family, but now you're taking away the ability for us to handle what we need to handle concerning our children. So now we're bad parents? No, you're a bad society.
Since I've been here, I've had a total of 6 unfounded ACS cases.
The people that are still here, they're still working, and that means they're still paying taxes.
Yes.
And so therefore, we paying these taxes, we working, doing all these many hours and all of that kind of stuff to try to get our family up. But yet in the same token, we're still living in this type of situation, being shifted on a bus, and then all they can give us is garbage bag.
O'clock today.
By 9 o'clock today.
And she also stated.
And did she tell you where you were going? Did
No,
she say,
she doesn't even know. All she said on the concourse. On the concourse. That's all she was saying on the concourse.
Is it really affordable? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, it is not affordable. It's not affordable for people who are just receiving SSI, and that is the only income that they have. It is not affordable for people who are just receiving public assistance, and that's all that they have. No, it is not affordable.
I have a best friend who lives in New York City Housing Authority, and when they budget her rent, according to her gross earnings and not the net. But we all know that you pay taxes. So how can you say that because I make $30,000 a year, I can pay $30,000 a year, and you know I'm not bringing home $30,000 at the end of the year because of taxes? And she also has to pay Con Edison. So even though she's out of the shelter now, she's stuck, and welfare's not helping her. She doesn't get any food stamps. She doesn't get any cash. She doesn't get any of that stuff. So there's plenty of times where she has to scavenge around at work, and she's a home attendant, and she has to ask some of her clients for food and for clothes. So these things are actually not affordable at all. Affordable housing, you don't know what's affordable until you're based on the family's needs. So I think affordable housing and building all these new things are great, but they need to focus on what the needs are and what the ranges of income are in order to make it actually affordable. And then we can actually call it affordable housing.
I feel that as now a society of homeless people, because now it's a society. It's not just, someone you see getting cans out of the garbage can. It's now a society now, because now you've reached thousands. You've reached that point. So it's not just, a handful in your community. No, that woman that's digging in your garbage can when you come out your building, that woman has thousands of people like her. So now it's a society.
We as the homeless population have to step up. Even if you're not homeless, if you have brothers or sisters or aunts or uncles or grandmas who are in the homeless system and you have an apartment, stand up and advocate for them. Help them. Let people know that we actually do care. This is a problem. It's a problem. And the only people that can solve it obviously are us. Even if we all came together as a whole homeless group and said, listen, we're going to all own one building. It could take like maybe 1,500 of us and say we're all going to own one building. We're going to put money in together and we're going to own the building and we're going to use the government for their grants and their subsidies and we're going to pay the property tax and we're going to house whoever the hell we want to house.
Therefore, if we learn and really put ourselves into a place of empowerment, our society can change. It can definitely change.